The word of a sadhu cannot be altered. Bhai Singh Ji was completely illiterate, but he was quite expert in his work and was known for his practical hand. For promotion, the management made it compulsory to appear in a written test. Being illiterate, Bhai Singh would always lament in his mind that had he not been illiterate, he also would have been eligible for promotion. Though he was practically quite efficient, still he was not eligible for any kind of promotion. He told his problem to Sant Ji. Sant Ji said, "You write whatsoever you want to write in the exam, and you will be able to clear the test." Bhai Singh Ji said, "I do not know any language, so how can I write? I can only read some words of Punjabi." As the workers from all states were working in the steel plant, so the management allowed them to write the exam in any of the languages they knew. Sant Ji asked him if he could just draw some half-assed lines on the paper or not. Singh Ji said that even a little child could do that, so why couldn't he? Sant Ji assured him that even if he would be able to do that, he would clear the test. He had full faith and belief in Sant Ji. He appeared in the exam and just drew irregular, half-assed lines on the answer sheet and came back. Orally, he discussed all the questions of the question paper with Bhai Singh Ji, who was the foreman in the plant. He learnt all the questions in perfect serial order by heart. The examiner who conducted the exam came to Singh and asked him what was the language in which he had written the exam, because nobody was able to read that text. He told him that it was a vernacular language in the state of Punjab. The officer asked him to read that for him so that he could listen to the answers and evaluate them accordingly. As he had already learnt the answers in a perfect serial order, he started speaking and was continuously rotating his fingers on the lines as if he was actually reading from the answer sheet. He read out all the questions. The officer was quite happy and satisfied after listening to his answers, and he granted him promotion. A few precious words of wisdom with some of his Sant Ji's companions. Sant Ji asked Bhai Pyara Singh, Bhai Tanna Singh and Bhai Atma Singh whether they belonged to the same village in Punjab. Bhai Pyara Singh said, "No, I belong to village Padda and the other two belong to village Batala. Our villages are just 5 to 7 kilometers apart from each other." Then Sant Ji said, "Listen carefully to my words, which are the utmost importance for you people. Firstly, none of you will preach anybody anything. Just keep on doing the meditation on the Naam individually. Secondly, do not motivate anyone to come into Sangat, because whosoever will be destined to come will come of his own. As there is a popular saying that a thirsty man comes to the well, but well never goes to any of the thirsty persons. Thirdly, if someone asks why do they look so blessed and asks for their secret with all humility, just request him that everything is in the Sangat of Guru Granth Sahib Ji, and all of them are just beggars in the court of Satguru Ji. Tell him to seek whatsoever he wants to from Guru Ji only. If he will be destined, then definitely he will come into the Sangat and receive the blessings. On the other hand, if someone is motivated to come to the Sangat, then the motivator will have to share the burden of all of his sins too. Being not blessed to that extent, one unnecessarily suffers from that burden." Bibi Gurbaksh Kaur, wife of Bhai Gurjeet Singh, GM at Bhilai. Bibi Gurbaksh Kaur is resident of village Kadiyan Taliwar near Basti Danish Mandan in district Jalandhar, Punjab. She was a teacher at Laddowali Road School at Jalandhar. Her marriage was fixed with Bhai Gurjeet Singh Ji, resident of village Siddiqpur Talwandi in district Jalandhar. Bhai Gurjeet Singh was working in Bhilai steel plant at that time. His parental uncle, Chacha Ji, was a higher officer in the plant. He got many Punjabi boys employed in the plant. Bhai Gurjeet Singh had already started attending Sant Ji's Sangat. he acquired the knowledge about detachment and Gurmat from the Sangat. He got so detached in his mind that he would always try to avoid any of the worldly happenings. When he came to know that the girl to whom he was going to get married was quite fashionable and open-minded, he started thinking that with this marriage he might get deviated from the spiritual path which he was pursuing. So as the day of marriage came closer, he went into hiding. Whole of the family was worried. They were thinking, what should be done and where should they search for him? A few wise people in the family were able to contemplate the idea that he must have gone to Sant Ji only, as there was no second place where he could go. Searching for him, they reached village Bariar and found that Bhai Gurjit Singh was there. The family members narrated the whole story to Sant Ji. Bhai Gurjit Singh also explained his point of view to Sant Ji. Sant Ji told him not to worry about anything and asked him to leave everything to him, Sant Ji. Sant Ji asked him to get married and assured him that time would come when his wife would also start coming into Sangat. Sant Ji extracted a promise from him that he would not say anything to her. Bhai Gurjit Singh was motivated with Sant Ji's assurance and went back home with his family members. The marriage party, Barat, reached village Khadiyan and Sant Ji also accompanied them. Arrangement for the stay of Barat was made at village Gurdwara. Many people from Bhilai had also come to join the marriage party. As per his routine, Sant Ji sat on a cot outside the Gurdwara for meditation. Just after some time, it started raining heavily. Sant Ji didn't move and kept sitting in his meditation as if there was no rain. Word spread in the whole of the village that a saint had come along with the Barat who was not getting drenched by the rain. His clothes remained dry and he kept sitting in meditation throughout the rain. Many people of that village saw that miracle and they were going sacrificial unto Guruji and his blessed Sikhs. A few people from the Barat sent a message to the girl's family that separate food should be prepared for the Sangat. For the families who do not understand the importance of Sangat, it becomes a headache for them to make separate arrangements for a few people, as none of the females on such occasions want to work. So naturally, the proposition was quite uncomfortable for the family. When Sant Ji came to know about this, he showed his displeasure and said that nobody should create any problem for the girl's family, and said that those who do not want to eat the routine langar, food, should eat fruit, etc. instead of food. After the marriage ceremony, Sant Ji brought Bibi Gurbaksh Kaur to his village Bariar. Very proudly, he was telling every family member that he had brought a daughter-in-law who was clad in a sari. He told them that her father was a military officer. That was the reason why the lifestyle of the family was like that of urbanites. It was difficult to find a proper bathroom in the whole of village. After searching a lot, they could find a house which was having some arrangement. Some females were entrusted with the responsibility to make arrangements for her to take bath, etc. in that house. Females were a bit reluctant to do that strange kind of duty. Sensing the displeasure amongst the females, Sant Ji said, "You females should perform this seva, service. A time will come when she will renunciate all her fashionable habits and will come into the Sangat. At that time, nobody will be able to match her in seva. She will never get tired while doing seva. Not only that, she will be a motivational force for others." After staying for some time in Punjab, Bhai Gurjit Singh took his wife to Bhilai. On reaching there, she found that all his companions were living a very simple life. As a result, she developed some kind of hatred for the Sangat. In total ignorance, she would speak very rudely with the people of the Sangat. She was of such an adamant nature that when Gurjit Singh would tell her to accompany him to the Sangat, she would simply say that they would be going to see a movie. She would argue that what was there in Sangat, that is, only the people. Similar are the people in the movie theaters also. He would be able to see lot many of them in the movie theater. After seeing the movie, she would insist to eat their meal from outside before going home. Such was her obnoxious behavior with the Sangat. On top of that, she was having unbearable fashionable habits, and she was gifted with a beautiful face and beautiful body. Bhai Kapoor Singh and a few others were in the knowledge of her hatred for the Sangat. By this time, Bhai Kapoor Singh had attained a very high spiritual level. He discussed all the details with his companions and told them that wife of one of their colleagues speaks ill about the Sangat, and warned that they all would also be held responsible for that slandering. Then everything was shared with Papaji. Though he was already aware about the circumstances and was just waiting for the right moment to arrive, he asked Kapoor Singh that all of them should pray for Bibi, Gurbaksh in the Sangat. So prayer was performed. The result was that slowly but surely, thought process of Bibi started changing of its own. Now she would rarely speak ill about the Sangat. Rather, she started respecting the satsangis in heart of hearts. She never shared her mind with anybody. On the face of it, she continued with her lifestyle as it was before. God Almighty has His own ways. He creates circumstances for an incident to happen. One day, Sangat was being held at one of the houses and the ladies were preparing food, langar, in the adjacent house. All of a sudden, a discussion started amongst them that being always busy in preparing langar, they hardly ever get an opportunity to listen to the religious sermons of Papaji. So after deciding amongst themselves, they conveyed to Bhai Kapoor Singh Ji that they would not prepare langar, reason being that they too wanted to listen to the religious sermons of Papaji. Now all of a sudden a situation was created and the preparation of langar came to a halt. Bhai Kapoor Singh started thinking to whom he could call for the preparation of langar. He was still deliberating in his mind on this idea when he saw that Bibi Gurbaksh was coming home from her school duty. Bhai Kapoor Singh stopped her on the way and told her that Sangat needs her services. She was quite surprised and questioned that why would Sangat need her services and for what? Bhai Kapoor Singh explained her the whole situation. He told her that the females who were routinely preparing the langar had suddenly gone on strike and requested her to help him in preparing the langar. She said that she had never ever done that kind of job in whole of her life. Encouraging her, Bhai Kapoor Singh said that he would be explaining everything and she would just have to do accordingly. So both of them prepared the langar. It looked quite obvious that Papaji wanted the Sangat to praise Bibi Gurbaksh to encourage her. Sangat enjoyed the langar and everyone exclaimed that it was very delicious. All of them asked who had prepared that food. Bhai Kapoor Singh told them the whole story. Sant Ji along with the Sangat were quite pleased and all of them blessed Bibi. Bibi Gurbaksh reached home quite late, and the moment she reached home, whole family started shouting at her and started asking her various questions. Bibi felt very perturbed over the reaction of the family because whole of the family always used to compel her to go to the Sangat, and now actually when she went there, she was being reprimanded. Bibi immediately came back to the Sangat and asked Bhai Kapoor Singh if that was the fruit of coming to the Sangat. Kapoor Singh just told her to keep her cool and counseled her that all these things keep on happening and she should take it as a routine matter. Then she told whole story to Papaji. He too just nodded his head and didn't say anything else. Then Papaji made a futuristic pronouncement that henceforth this Bibi would be performing service in the Sangat regularly and would never ever be tired or reluctant in doing the service throughout her life. True to his pronouncement, Bibi till today is performing service in the Sangat tirelessly. While doing so, neither she goes to sleep nor she feels any kind of tiredness, and she continues to serve for hours at length. Baba Thakur Singh Ji, head of Damdami Taksaal, used to call her by the name of Seva, and whenever he used to see her, he would say that Seva has come. Babaji fixed that title permanently with her name. It would be an appropriate place to write some more incidents about Bibi. When Bhai Gurjit Singh took her to Bhilai, he never wanted her to join her teaching job, putting forward the logic that she should look after the family and he would work to earn the money, because it was his duty to fulfill the needs of the family. When Papaji came to know about this, he suggested Gurjit Singh to let her join her duty and pronounced that it was going to be of paramount importance for her future life. He told Gurjit Singh that he would realize its importance at an appropriate time. As of now, he should not stop her from joining the service. For any well-qualified person, it was not difficult to find a job in those days. BBG was appointed as a teacher in the school of Bhilai steel plant itself. Time just passed by and both of them continued with their jobs. By this time, they had 2 children. Suddenly, Gurjit Singh died due to a heart attack. Then only BBG could realize that perhaps that was the reason why Papaji had allowed her to join the service. Again, after some time, her son of the age of 23 years died in an accident and her daughter was already married. Now she was left alone to lead her life. This was the second time when she could realize why Papaji strongly recommended her to join her service. Now there was no second person who could earn bread and butter for her. That was Papaji's foresightedness for the future events. Many a times he would pronounce many things quite early, which would often materialize later on an appropriate time. BBG started enjoying serving the Sangat and would always keep on longing for an occasion to do so. Her old lifestyle was all gone, and she would always wish to be in the service of the Sangat. To fulfill her quest, she started coming to the Sangat just after a half-day break at the school, and thereafter she would start working in the Sangat. Papaji observed that for 2 days. On 3rd day when BBG came, Papaji was already standing at the gate of the satsang house. He was quite displeased to see her and asked, "Do you want to feed your children with the corruption money? If you are being given full pay for the duty, then why don't you perform your duty for full time?" BBG was stunned and could not utter even a single word. From that day onward, she performed her duty with complete dedication and honesty. As a result, not only she was respected by her colleagues, but also by the parents of the students, because the students to whom she would teach invariably would turn out to be quite brilliant in their studies. Bibi Gurbaksh Ji rendered her services during illness of great Sikh personalities. Accompanied by Papaji, BBG rendered her services for many enlightened souls on many occasions. She would stay out of her house for days at length. She was having small children who then would be taken care of by the Sangat. She would always be ready to render her services as per the commandment of Papaji. When Sant Kartar Singh Ji Khalsa Bhilai was seriously sick and was at Gurdwara Prabandhak Sahib near Chandigarh, Sant Ji called BBG from Bhilai in particular and asked her to look after Khalsa Ji by serving him food, etc. She remained in his service for about 20 days. She came back to Bhilai only after Khalsa Ji was fully recovered. On another occasion, when Sant Jarnail Singh Ji Bhilai fell seriously ill, so much so that he could hardly drink or eat anything, then also his companions especially called BBG from Bhilai to look after Sant Ji for about 40 days. On another occasion, when Sant Baba Harnam Singh Ji from Rampur Kheda was admitted in Vairam Singh Nursing Home at Amritsar because of his illness, once again, Sant Jarnail Singh Ji Bhilai requested BBG to render her services and take care of Sant Harnam Singh Ji. She stayed there for about 20 days. Then Baba Harnam Singh Ji told her that her service, Seva, has been completed and told her that shortly he would be shifted to Delhi. He told her that time has come to renunciate his body. To cure Bibi Gurbaksh Ji from her serious illness. In 1967, Bibi herself fell sick, and doctors lost all their hopes. She was having a girl child at that time. She was only able to drink little quantity of liquids or take some boiled vegetables. Papaji was posted in Bhutan at that time. He especially told his wife Bibi Charan Kaur Ji to take care of Bibi urgently. Bibi Charan Kaur Ji was fondly called by the Sangat as Biji. In those days, she used to remain completely absorbed in the recitation of Naam, and she was blessed with quite high spiritual level. Without wasting any time, Biji reached at the parental house of Gurbaksh Kaur at village Kadiyan Taliwal, where she was fighting her battle with death. On the very sight of Biji, whole family became almost sure that their daughter would be saved. Biji sat on the same cot where Gurbaksh Kaur was lying and lovingly touched her. She felt a bit relieved. It was evening time and dinner was ready. Her mother offered food to Biji. She put one bite into Gurbaksh Kaur's mouth. Immediately after eating that, she, Gurbaksh Kaur, went into deep sleep. In the morning, Biji went back to her village and Gurbaksh Kaur started improving with every passing day and was ultimately cured completely. That was how Papaji, even sitting at a far-off place from his satsangis, would always take care of all of them. With Satguru's grace, he could save Bibiji from the clutches of death. To shatter the pride of Bibi Gurbaksh Kaur of getting up early in the morning. On special programs of the Sangat, Bibiji would always stay at the Sangat house itself and would rarely take any rest. As blessed by Papaji, she would work tirelessly and sleeplessness would never decrease her stamina of working. She would always get up quite early in the morning and after taking her bath would be absorbed in various kinds of services, seva. Her bedding most of the time would invariably be near that of Papaji himself. Slowly and unknowingly, she started taking pride in her mind that she gets up early in the morning even before Papaji gets up. The very next day, Papaji asked her to wake him up early in the morning and pampered her by saying that she gets up quite early, so she should take that responsibility. Now her ego was even more inflated and she was filled with self-pride that from that day onwards, she would be the one who would be waking up Papaji in the morning. On that very night, she repeatedly saw, while laying in her bed, that Papaji was all the time sitting in his bed and was absorbed in meditation. When it was early in the morning, he just laid down, covering his face, as if he was sleeping since night. Seeing all that, Bibiji's pride was completely shattered, and she could realize that while she was unnecessarily taking pride of waking him up early in the morning, he was just pretending to be lying down, and the fact was that he was awake throughout the night. Meeting of Papaji with Bibi Gurbaksh Kaur's father, which transformed his life altogether. Bibiji's father, Lakshman Singh, was a retired captain from the army. He was having a chronic infected wound on his leg, which he got due to the bite of some poisonous insect during his participation in the war of Burma. In spite of all types of treatment, the wound did not cure. To add to his woes, he was also suffering from diseases like blood sugar, etc. Due to his ill health, Bibiji often had to come to Punjab from Bhilai. Because of his captain's bad experience with self-styled sadhus, he had developed permanent suspicion about all the sadhus and saints. Rather, he always used to oppose them and speak ill about them. Being a soldier, he was quite outspoken and straightforward in his comments. In a way, it can be said that he had developed almost permanent hatred for all those people who used to look like saints by their appearance. Knowing all these facts, Bibiji never talked to him about Papaji. Whenever she would go to meet Sant Ji, she would always keep that a secret. Once it so happened that she went back to Bhilai, and immediately after, her father's health deteriorated badly. She had to come back immediately to Punjab. When she went to meet Papaji in Bariar village, he asked for the reason of her returning to Punjab so soon. She told about the ill health of her father. Papaji said, "Gurbaksh, from now onward, you need not come to look after your father from such a far-off place. Now I will be looking after him. You go to your village, I will come there soon." Knowing fully well that her father always speaks ill about the sadhus, she was quite afraid that if he would do the same thing with Papaji, then he might land up in more trouble. Sensing the situation, she told Papaji not to come to her village and assured that she herself would take care of everything. But Papaji again said the same thing, that she should go and he would reach there soon. To save the situation, she didn't talk to her father that Sant Ji was coming. Rather, she kept praying to God all the time to save her from any untoward situation. She shared her anxiety with her mother. In the same evening, Papaji reached at her village. Now the two soldiers sat down together. Knowing fully well the taste of a soldier, Papaji started the conversation about army. Then during the ongoing discussion, Captain Sahib started talking about Gurbani, as he was also having quite good knowledge of Gurbani. He raised many questions, which were addressed by Papaji, quoting various verses from the Gurbani itself. That conversation satisfied Captain's inner quest about many things to a great extent. Now it was time for dinner. Captain Sahib was in the habit of drinking liquor before his meal. So he brought a bottle of liquor and placed it on the dinner table. Papaji said, "Gurbaksh, bring my food here only. I will partake my food sitting near Captain Sahib." While dining, Captain Sahib was continuously raising various queries about Gurbani, and the discussion thus continued. As per daily routine, every evening, Captain's infected leg used to be washed with hot water and some medicine used to be applied. For that procedure, Gurbaksh Kaur placed a stool near Captain's bed and went inside to bring hot water. Papaji sat on the stool and he himself washed the wound and said, "Gurbaksh, the wound is not in that bad shape and assured that it will be cured soon." To make it look simpler, he said that even a quack can treat this kind of wound. After that, both of them kept discussing various things. By this time, Captain Sahib was almost sure in his mind that he had met with the true saint of Shri Guru Nanak Dev Ji. It is pertinent to mention here that earlier the doctors had recommended that the leg had to be amputated and had warned that otherwise septicemia could affect whole of his body. After the proclamation made by Sant Ji, the wound started healing. Later on, even the doctor suggested that no amputation was required. The result was that Captain got deeply attached with Sant Ji and often would go all the way to meet Sant Ji and would always return with a very peaceful and pacified mind. He would often say to his daughter, "Why did she keep the secret of a true saint with herself only? Had he met him earlier, he could have been benefited even more from his company." Now Captain Sahib reached at the end of his life. He suffered a sudden heart attack. The family took him to the hospital. He said goodbye to his wife. He inquired whether Sant Ji had reached the hospital or not. His wife said that Sant Ji had come. Sant Ji remained by his bedside till the time he breathed his last and was declared dead by the doctors in the hospital itself. To initiate Bhai Gurdial Singh of Mandla Nagar into selfless service. In 1981, Sant Ji started his journey in a jeep donated by Sant Kartar Singh Ji Khalsa Bariaranwale, along with his driver Pardesi, from Bhilai to Raipur and then proceeded to Jabalpur. On the way comes a very hazardous hilly area known as Shilpi Kati. While they were crossing that area, their jeep broke down. Pardesi requested Sant Ji to return back, as the area ahead was quite dangerous and the jeep was also creating trouble. With lot of love and affection, Sant Ji told him that they had come to that forest area to meet one of the lions residing there, so he need not be afraid of anything. The driver was surprised because they had never ever visited that area before. Then who was that lion about which Sant Ji was talking? Next day, early in the morning, they reached Mandla Nagar. Sant Ji was able to find Bhai Gurdial Singh. When he saw the Gursikhs, he served them with all kinds of food, etc. As per his habit, he asked Sant Ji if he could serve them in any other better way. He would be pleased to do that. Papaji said that he was required for a lot of services, which were being long overdue to him. Later on, Gurdial Singh himself said that he thought that Sant Ji at the most would ask for rupees 5,000 or 10,000 from him, as was the tradition. But when he asked for the second time for any kind of service, Sant Ji repeated the same thing. Now Bhai Gurdial Singh started thinking that at the most Sant Ji would ask him to donate a truck, etc., as he had seen all his properties around. When Sant Ji was ready to leave, he again asked for any kind of service. Sant Ji, just before leaving, said that let the time come, then he would be told for the service required of him and blessed him. Then Sant Ji told his driver to turn back the vehicle and said that from now onwards he, Gurdial Singh, would take care of all the matters pertaining to Sikhs in that area. Hardly after 6 months or so, many innocent Sikhs were arrested from Durg and Bhilai and sent to the jails of Raipur and Jabalpur. Later they were transferred to Mandala jail. Otherwise also it was well known in that whole area that whenever and wherever some Sikh person, innocent or otherwise, was arrested in that forest area, or some accident or unforeseen incident would occur, Bhai Gurdial Singh used to submit the bail application even without knowing or verifying their antecedents and would always help the accident sufferers. Now, this being a religious case, Sikhs from all over the area had reached Mandala in large numbers to meet the arrested Sikhs. Bhai Gurdial Singh, with a lot of love and affection, motivated each and every person from that area, right from children to elders, to participate in organizing the langar for the incoming Sikhs from different parts in various gurdwaras in the area for all 24 hours. He bore all the expenditure of various cases in various courts for months together without bothering about his own financial condition. Being a wise and an introspective man, now he could realize perhaps that was the service Sant Ji was asking for in advance. It is an example till date how Gurdial Singh served the needy with all the means at his disposal without bothering about himself and his family. Then Bhai Gurdial Singh reached Bhilai's satsang and requested Papaji that he had promised him to jointly serve the people. Then how could it be possible that he alone can render all those services at Mandala? Calmly Sant Ji replied that he should not worry about anything because he would always find him along his side wherever he would need him. To serve the community is real service of religion. Bhai Gurdial Singh exclaims that thereafter he never went to any of the courts. Some occult hidden force was always helping the needy Sikhs. That was how Papaji used to arrange the things to serve the people in need, much before the real incidents actually could happen. When Bhai Gurdial Singh Ji told that Sant Kartar Singh Khalsa Ji Bariaranwale had pronounced that Punjabi would be taught to the children in that forest area, then Papaji said that the time has come to fulfill that promise. Bibi Gurbaksh Kaur, during her vacation of 1.5 months, was deputed to teach Punjabi in that area. At Bhilai, she requested Papaji that she was having small kids to look after, as her husband had also been arrested. On top of that, she hardly knew anyone in Mandala, so where would she stay along with 2 small kids? Sant Ji told her that the service had been bestowed upon her and she should just do that. Sant Ji asked her to go to Gurdwara Sahib along with her children and said that everyone from the Sangat would be willing to take her to their house, but she would not go with any of them. During the night, when whole program would be completed, one very tall man along with his short-statured wife would come to Gurdwara Sahib and would request her to accompany them to their house. Then she would go along with them. Sant Ji also said that perhaps she didn't know what else she would have to give at that place. She was astonished and thought that she was not having anything which she could give to someone at that place. She was caught totally unaware when after some time Sant Jarnail Singh Ji Khalsa got her, Bibi Ji's daughter, engaged to the son of Bhai Gurdial Singh Ji. That was how Sant Ji would pronounce many things much before they actually could happen. Pyara Singh Hoti. There is another incident similar to the above one. Pyara Singh Hoti was a fashionable man whom Bhai Gurjeet Singh had brought to Bhilai from Jalandhar for the job. His wife was already involved in seva, service at Dera Harkowal, so she had great respect for the Sangat. But both of them never used to come to the Sangat. Rather, Hoti, after seeing the Sangat cleaning and polishing the shoes, would comment that people had lost their mental balance. Otherwise, why would they touch the dirty shoes to their heads? His wife would always forbid him from making such comments and used to say that it was a very holy act of seva. As the time passed, slowly both of them started attending the Sangat. The day came when Papaji was allotting specific tasks of seva to various people. Langar seva was given to GM Sahib, stage management, etc. was allotted to Mahatji and his companions. As all that was being done, Hotiji was just standing nearby. Papaji caught hold of him by the neck and, blessing him on the back, said, "He will take care of the shoes of the Sangat." Hoti felt a bit humiliated, but soon he realized as if his folly was being corrected. Till today, even if he would not be well, still he would always perform the shoes service, Joda Seva, with all humility and love. Leaving Bhilai Nagar. In Bhilai Nagar, satsang was being held every day routinely. One fine day, Sant Ji was sitting completely engrossed in deep meditation. One old female, out of sheer devotion, not only bowed at his feet but also touched his feet. Though he didn't say anything to that old woman, but from that day onwards he started reciting one of the poems of Bulle Shah Ji, which goes like this: "Let us, Bulle Shah, go to that place where totally ignorant people are dwelling. None of them know me and none of them will worship me." Repeatedly listening to this, one day Pyara Singh Ji dared to ask Sant Ji why he keeps on singing that couplet repeatedly. Sant Ji told him the above incident. Pyara Singh tried to explain that it was not a big thing. People usually bow before saints, and as a matter of fact, he should allow them to do so. In a very enraged voice, Sant Ji said that you might be fond of all that, but he certainly was not interested in any of such things. Pyara Singh Ji got scared and couldn't utter any word. Now it was simply clear that Sant Ji had made up his mind not to stay there anymore. Just after a few days, he moved to Roorkee to join the duty in the department of GREP. When Sant Ji was ready to move, whole of the Sangat was very sad. Many beloved ones from the Sangat requested Sant Ji not to leave. But Sant Ji kept on saying that it was the commandment of God and he would have to obey that, because real peace lies only in the acceptance of the commandment. Now it was the time to leave and everything was ready. A whole lot of people gathered at the railway station to bid farewell to Sant Ji. Pyara Singh Ji, with his choked voice, requested by saying that as yet they were very new to the Sangat and he had decided to leave them. Sant Ji said that one should always remain in the Sangat as innocently as possible and should never try to become a very wise man. Sant Ji's wife was also saddened. She said that there was a great pleasure in the Sangat, which everyone used to enjoy. Once she would go to the village, she would be missing this great pleasure. She asked Sant Ji to bless her that she would never remain without Sangat. Then Sant Ji retorted that it was Sangat's inherent behavior and nature that it does not leave anyone once it adopts someone into its fold. So she should not worry, and said she would always be having a Sangat. So amongst all these conversations and with very heavy hearts, the whole Sangat bade farewell to Sant Ji at the railway station. The seeds of Sangat which Sant Ji sowed at Bhilai kept always growing higher and higher. This way Sant Ji reached at Roorkee Army headquarters. Just after a few days, Tanna Singh and his wife made a program to go to Punjab. They booked tickets for Sri Harmandir Sahib. While sitting in the train, Sant Ji's love started overwhelming them. When they reached Saharanpur, they could not control themselves and left the train. They booked the tickets for Roorkee and came back to Roorkee, hired a rickshaw from the station and reached military camp. Civilians were not allowed to enter the military camp, especially for the females. It was even more difficult. But with God's grace, nobody stopped both of them. Straight away they went into the barracks. After crossing a few barracks, they thought they should ask somebody about Sant Ji. They saw a man and inquired about Sant Ji. The old man said that Sant Ji was his senior, so without any problem, they reached straight away at the quarters of Sant Ji. Sant Ji showered a lot of love on both of them and asked Tanna Singh to take his bath and told his junior to keep towel, soap, bucket, oil, etc. near the water pump. Just when Tanna Singh reached at the water pump, Sant Ji also went after him and asked him to sit down. He held the soap and mug in his hands and himself gave Tanna Singh a bath along with his head bath. He made Tanna Singh to stand and applied soap on whole of his body and rubbed it properly. After sending Tanna Singh to the room, the clothes of Tanna Singh, which were given to the servant for washing, he took them back and washed them with his own hands. Seeing that love and affection, even the servant's throat was choked, because he had never ever seen such humility in any of his previous military officers. Bhai Tanna Singh was also overwhelmed by this extreme humility and love. Sant Ji was actually teaching all of us how to serve our fellow beings. Bhai Tanna Singh stayed there just for one night. His wife was made to stay with the family of another military officer. Both of them remained busy in spiritual discussion until very late in the night. The next morning, Sant Ji bid them farewell at the railway station after showering a lot of love and blessings on both of them. Sant Ji's health deteriorated all of a sudden. Papa Ji suddenly fell sick. First of all, he was kept at Sitaram Military Hospital of Bihar State. Then he was referred to the Military Hospital of Lucknow. After about 6 months or so, a letter was received at village Bariar in which only this much was written, that he was admitted in Lucknow Hospital. No other details were mentioned. In those very days only, a few people from Bhilai had also come to village Bariar, as they too were worried for not receiving any information about Sant Ji since very long time. After receiving the letter, it was decided that Tanna Singh would go along with Sant Ji's wife to inquire about the whole situation. When both of them reached Lucknow Hospital, they were shocked at seeing the condition of Sant Ji. His body was quite debilitated. Whole of his face was covered with hair, and some pus-like liquid was coming out of his eyes. It was a very pathetic scene, because Sant Ji used to be a well-built man having a stout body. After some time, when Sant Ji's wife went out, finding Tanna Singh along by his bedside, Sant Ji said that there was nothing to worry, as he was perfectly well. Though Tanna Singh was a bit relieved by listening to this statement, but the fact was that the condition of Sant Ji was looking quite grim. Next day, Sant Ji asked Tanna Singh to go to his doctor and inquire for himself what was the disease with which he was suffering from. When Tanna Singh discussed Sant Ji's condition with his attending doctor, he said that all his tests were perfectly normal and no disease had been diagnosed so far. As of now, no reason could be attributed because of which his health had deteriorated so badly. Doctors said that he might be under some kind of mental depression because of which his health was deteriorating. Tanna Singh told the doctor that he had no family liability as they were 5 brothers and all of them were quite well off. Doctor, as a matter of fact, said that but for this, no other reason could be attributed to his ill health. That was how Sant Ji reconfirmed to Tanna Singh that actually he was not suffering from any disease. Rather, there was some metaphysical phenomena which could never be understood by us mortals. Sant Ji explained that his disease was actually the pain of utter desperation of his separation from the God Almighty. Then with the grace of Satguruji, all his disease was cured and the spiritual journey, which was halted due to some of his previous karma, continued uninterrupted. Everything came back to its normal situation and routine. The paycheck which Sant Ji got during his stay in the hospital, he didn't use that for his family. Rather, he used that money in the Sangat, saying that he had not performed any duty during his illness, so he did not have any right over that money. He was a disciplined follower of protocols and rules. If this condition during that serious illness is to be summed up, it was exactly like the following words of Gurbani. Ram beogi na jiye, jiye tabaura hoy. One who is separated from the Lord does not live. He does not live. He goes insane. Transfer to Bhutan. Nak nat khasam hat kirt takke de. Jahan dane tahan khane nanaka sach hai. The string through the nose is in the hands of the Lord Master. One's own actions drive him on. Wherever his food is, there he eats it. O Nanak, this is the truth. As desired by the Sadguruji, Papaji was transferred to Bhutan. Construction work of Chinese border roads was going on there. Here also, none of the military officers or other people around him could remain without being influenced by his living style and his meditation on the name of God. Many locals got so impressed that they started coming to attend his Sangat. There he was fondly called as Mahamuni, as it was considered a very respected spiritual designation in that area. Sant Ji sent 2 people from Bhutan to Bhilai's Sangat. One of them was a Sikh officer and the other one was a Gorkha. They narrated many stories about Sant Ji and told them that when common people dance in joy, Sant Ji also sometimes start dancing with them. One day Sant Ji said that he did not feel like dancing with them, but on instances he gave them a stick, which people in the hilly area often hold for support during walking, and said that from that day onwards, his stick would be dancing with them in his place. And actually that stick danced with the people to the utter amusement and astonishment of the locals. Both of them were quite impressed by the Sangat of Bhilai, and then they went back to Bhutan. Actually, Sant Ji wanted the people to learn from the Sangat of Bhilai and at the same time wanted to shower his blessings on Bhilai's Sangat. Already some discussion has been mentioned about Bhai Bikram Singh Ji. He was shunted out of his job and he had to sit back at his home. Many other staff members were also relieved from their jobs. One amongst them was Bhai Bikram Singh's officer, who was well known to him and was quite compassionate in nature. When he decided to move to Durgapur plant, he told Bikram Singh that he would soon call him there and cautioned him that he should come only after receiving a letter from him. As per his restless nature, Bikram Singh could not wait for long, and secondly, being jobless, he was under mental stress. So ultimately, he reached the office of the officer without waiting for any letter. He took him to his house and served him with tea and food, etc. Bikram Singh asked him if there was some Gurdwara nearby so that he could visit to pay his obeisance. The officer told him that there was actually one at a distance of 3 to 4 kilometers, but warned that he should go by the road only and not through the forest. It was evening time and dusk was setting in. While walking, he thought that by road it would be quite long distance, while the walkway through the forest was quite shortcut and he would reach quickly. Forgetting the warning of the officer, he started walking through the forest. After a short while, the small walkway reached to a dead end. There were tall trees all around and he was completely lost. Secondly, because of the darkness, he was totally confused and missed the directions in which he should move. Almost on the verge of his nervous breakdown, he said to himself that only Sant Ji could help him in that situation and decided to pray to him. Bhai Bikram Singh recited the Shabad, Tati vav na lag gayi, par Brahm saranai. The hot wind does not even touch one who is under the protection of the Supreme Lord. Then he prayed to Sant Ji to appear in 10 minutes to show him the path so that he could get out of that forest. Then he started reciting Guru Mantra by closing his eyes. After a little while, he heard a very loud and dangerous voice, and a flash of light appeared. He got terrified. He opened his eyes, but he could not see anybody around. Then again he heard a voice from the sky, which told him that he could not hold on to his promise, so he would not be able to visualize anything. Follow the straight path ahead and reach the Gurdwara. When he got up, he saw a clear path ahead, and that voice asked him to take money from his officer, which he would give him and go back to Bhilai. His officer told him that as yet he himself was on a shaky ground, so he should be given some more time. As and when things will settle, he would call him by posting a letter, and only then he should come. Later on, when Bikram Singh met Sant Ji, then Sant Ji warned him not to put him in so many examinations, and neither he should force him to get things done. One should always abide by the commandment of the Almighty. That was the only way to realize the eternal peace. Bhai Bikram Singh was summoned to Bhutan. While on duty in Bhutan, Sant Ji made up his mind to perform an Akhand Path, continuous recitation of Gurbani. But Akhand Pathis, those who recite Bani, were not available there. Then Bhai Bikram Singh was called from Bhilai and a few parties were called from Punjab. Bhai Bikram Singh Ji got ready to go to Bhutan and boarded the train. While he was sleeping, all his baggage was stolen. When he got up, he found that everything was stolen. No clothes, no money, so naturally he got quite upset. Fellow travelers suggested that he should get out at New Bagain station and told him that many Sikh families reside in that area, so he would be able to seek help from them. He did exactly the same and narrated the whole episode to one of the persons. All of them gave him clothes and money and he proceeded on with his journey. After reaching Bhutan military area, he asked about Sant Ji. He could only remember little bit of the address as the letter on which the complete address was written was also stolen. At the checkpost, when he asked about Sant Ji, they told him to follow the lighting bulb ahead and then again ask someone. Reaching there, he loudly called Papa Ji by saying, Havaldar Ji. Someone answered his call by calling his name saying, Bikram Singh Ji, come forward. But the person who called him by his name was not known to him. Surprisingly, he asked that how come he knew his name. He said, Kartar Singh, Sant Ji, came here and told me your name and told me that you are coming. He also said your baggage was stolen in the train and asked me to make some arrangements to take you to the place where Sant Ji is living. He stayed there for the night and in the morning he was taken to Bhutan Gurdwara by jeep. When he met Sant Ji, he was all in tears and told Sant Ji that all his belongings were stolen on the train. Even the bed sheets which he brought for the marriage of his daughter, Baljit Kaur, were also stolen. Sant Ji consoled him and said that he had already bought bed sheets for his daughter and he was free to take them. After talking for some time and exchanging various pleasantries, he was sent to his residential place and was told that his Akhand Path's duty was at 1 a.m. in the night. Another party eventually said that he was feeling extreme cold, so he might not be able to perform his duty. Sant Ji said that Bhai Bikram Singh would do his duty as well. At the same time, Sant Ji told Bikram Singh that Path, Bani, was running a bit behind schedule, so he would have to recite the Bani quite fast so that the completion could be done on time in the morning. After the tiredness of the journey was gone, very enthusiastically, Bikram Singh started his duty of Akhand Path at 1 a.m. in the night. Bhai Bikram Singh was not used to reciting the Bani fast. When he started reciting the Bani, he felt that it was not his tongue which was reciting, rather the sound was coming out from his head. His eyes were just seeing the words and hands were turning the pages. At 8 a.m. in the morning, the other party Singh came and asked him to leave. Sant Ji lifted him up and took him to another room. He made him lie down because he was completely out of his senses at that time. Sant Ji himself massaged his legs and arms with desi ghee. His head was massaged with almond oil. He was made to drink hot milk along with desi ghee. Slowly he regained his senses. What exactly had happened, nobody knew, but for Sant Ji himself. It used to rain almost daily in Bhutan. Sant Ji prayed to Vaheguru Ji that on the day of Pog ceremony, concluding day, there might not be any rain. So on the day of the Pog, actually there was no rain, and when whole of the function was over, it started raining again. Sant Ji put one person on the duty for reservation of tickets for all those who had been invited from outside. He himself took all of them in a jeep to show them the Chinese border. Being a hilly area, Bikram Singh started vomiting. Sant Ji was securing the vomitus in his shoulder cloth. Every time he would throw it outside and would compassionately clean his mouth. He showed all of them a place where during digging Sant Ji got a golden brick which he deposited in the government treasury. Bikram Singh said, "Sant Ji, you should have kept it with yourself." Sant Ji replied that it never belonged to him, so there was no reason to keep that with him. Sant Ji was supervisor for road building. He would daily measure a particular length and order the labor to complete the task until that evening. He himself would most of the time keep meditating in the name of God. With the grace of Sadhguruji, the laborers were so obedient that they would never leave until the given task was completed. Sant Ji had fixed his tent near the bank of the river, where general public was not visiting frequently. But wild animals like lions, cheetahs, etc. used to come there quite frequently for drinking water. When he was asked why he had put his tent at such a scary place, he disclosed that he always wanted to live with such animals. Sant Ji used to offer varied varieties of food to the laborers for eating. Someone asked Sant Ji that the food items which he was providing to the labor for eating, they were not being supplied in the government ration. Then from where all the stuff was being procured and supplied? Sant Ji simply said that he had not to inquire about that. Everything was being done according to the divine will of God, which he would never be able to understand. All those materials would ceaselessly keep coming to him. When Sant Ji was deputed at Rangoon for the construction of roads, his commander used to respect him a lot. Whenever he was to proceed on leave, he would always ask Sant Ji whether he was also proceeding on leave or not. If Sant Ji would say no, then only he would proceed on leave and would hand over his entire charge to Sant Ji, in spite of the fact that Sant Ji was much lower in rank to the commander. Commander was quite confident that in Sant Ji's presence there would not be any embezzlement or anything else like that whatsoever. There was great scarcity of water in that place, and water used to be fetched from far-flung places on military vehicles. Realizing that difficulty, Sant Ji took initiative to dig a well and constructed a Gurdwara at that place, and eventually Sangat also started joining for prayers. The process then initiated by Sant Ji is continuing till this date, and still in that place people remember Sant Ji with great respect. To hold a religious congregation. After Sant Ji's illness, when he resumed his duty, he was granted 10 days of leave just after a few days of his joining the duty. First of all, he wrote a letter to the Sangat in Bhilai so as to ask them where he should visit first. After serious deliberations, Bhilai Sangat decided that for half of the days Sant Ji would stay in Bhilai, and for the remaining half days he would go to Punjab along with any of the persons who would like to go along with him. So the decision was conveyed to Sant Ji by posting him a letter. That was how Sant Ji used to completely surrender his will before the Holy Sangat. It is indeed very difficult at times to move strictly according to the Sangat's wish. These days we see that managements quite often compel the Sangat to obey their decision. Spiritually, it is a wrong method of doing things. Sant Ji remained with Bhilai Sangat for half of the days, and for remaining half of the days, he stayed with his family at Bariar. Before proceeding on leave, he wrote a letter to his family that Sadguru Shri Guru Granth Sahib Ji would be installed in their house at Bariar. Keeping in mind the respect of Guruji, a lot more instructions were also written. Family was also instructed to prepare varied varieties of food items for the Sangat. After reaching home, as was already decided, he invited all his relatives and a whole lot of people from nearby villages. Whole program was conducted with meticulous planning. As a mark of respect for Satguruji, flags were hoisted right from village Madhyala to his house, and decorative gates were erected in that distance of about quarter to 1 kilometer. Sant Ji himself broomed the whole road, and to settle the dust, water was sprinkled. Then with great respect and honor, Shri Guru Granth Sahib Ji was brought in a palanquin. The enthusiasm was quite palpable on the face of Sant Ji, and whole scenario was quite spectacular. Whole of the Sangat was also elated in ecstasy. Shri Akhand Path, continuous recitation of Gurbani, was initiated. Many people had already been invited through special invitations. Sant Ji himself washed the feet of whole of the Sangat. Clothes were gifted to old people and ladies were gifted with head covers, dupattas. On the day of the completion of Shri Akhand Path Sahib, the pathway from where the Sangat was to come was broomed by Sant Ji himself. Bhilai Sangat was instructed with the job to supervise making of all types of sweets. To liberate the soul of Bhai Resham Singh, who was brother of Bhai Swaran Singh. Bhai Swaran Singh was an old friend of Sant Ji and was resident of village Kotra in district Jalandhar. His brother had gone to Africa long time ago and had died there. Sant Ji, along with some companions, namely Bhai Sukhdev Singh, Giani Gurbaksh Singh Mehtewale, Sardar Kashmir Singh, and a nephew of Sant Ji, etc., went to village Kotra. After they were finished with tea and snacks, etc., wife of the brother of Bhai Swaran Singh, Bibi Resham Kaur, requested Sant Ji to solve a very big problem which was being faced by whole of their family. She narrated that the soul of the father of her children daily came at night and knocked at their doors. All of the family members were quite terrified. It was very difficult to live in such scary circumstances. Sant Ji listened to the whole story with rapt attention. But he didn't speak anything. Perhaps he, along with his companions, had purposely gone there to salvage the situation, and quite possibly he was seized with the problem even before coming to that place. By now it was evening time and dinner was served. After they finished with the dinner, Sant Ji asked Sukhdev Singh to start singing the Kirtan. As there was no musical instrument, the whole Sangat jointly sang the Kirtan. After the completion, he asked Master Ji to perform the Ardas, supplication, for the liberation of the soul of Bhai Swaran Singh's brother. The sleeping arrangement was made in the drawing room. To escape the snoring sounds of his companions, Master Sukhdev Singh went to another room. After about midnight, Master Sukhdev Singh started hearing knocking at his door. As he had already heard the whole story about the soul of Bhai Swaran Singh's brother, he got quite terrified and kept sitting throughout the night and did not open the door. He remained quite perturbed early in the morning and when all his companions got up to take their baths, etc., Sukhdev Singh came out of his room wrapped in a quilt. Sant Ji asked him, from where has he come? Terrified as he was, he told Sant Ji, as was narrated by Resham Kaur, same thing had happened with him during the night. He could not sleep throughout the night. Sant Ji said that he was expected to come in the night, but he could not do anything in the Sangat. You being alone, he was able to terrify you. Now the family, which was living in a constant fear, was relieved of the terror. Such was the nature of Sant Ji that he would always be ready to do selfless service. He could never tolerate the pain of others and would never ever let them know that he had done something for them. He would always perform ardas in a collective form of Sangat to avoid any focus on himself. This is the basis and utmost important principle of the Sangat, and he obeyed it throughout his life. Retirement of Sant Ji. He always remained completely engrossed in the meditation of God. With the result, many occult phenomena kept happening during all those years. He got retirement from the army and came back to his village Bariar, district Gurdaspur. The congregation of the Sangat at Bariar started increasing and people from all over started coming to participate in Shabad Kirtan. As per the need of the Sangat, a hall was constructed and daily Sangat used to be held. Sadhguruji had blessed Sant Ji to spread the message of Gurbani and Sikhism. Till the end of his life, he kept on doing that service. Meeting with Sant Kartar Singh Ji Khalsa, Bariaranwale. J.E. Santokh Singh was posted in electricity board at Kuman. One fine day he came to attend the satsang and was overwhelmed to see that in the whole of the program the discussion was purely according to Gurmat, and the whole of the program was held with very high spiritual spirit. He was a frequent visitor of Damdami Taksaal, Mehta Sahib. At the same time, he came quite close to Sant Ji as well. He thought that it would be a better idea if the Gurmat program could be held at village Bariar by seeking time from Damdami Taksaal. After finalizing the program, a request was made to Khalsa Ji at Mehta to come to village Bariar. He kindly accepted the invitation and the date was fixed. To welcome and honor Sant Kartar Singh Ji Khalsa, flags were hoisted on both sides of the road, right from village Madhyala, and welcome gates were also erected, as was done earlier on the day of Sant Samagam. The whole road was broomed and water was sprinkled all along. A band was also arranged. Children and elders were separately told to sing hymns at different points when Jatha of Khalsa Ji would reach near each one of them. When Jatha reached at the hall, Sant Ji himself sang in his own style, "O people, listen, saints have come as guests." He told his wife that various relatives and friends often come in various houses, but rare are the houses where saints come as guests. He sang various other hymns in honor of Sant Khalsa Ji and kept on encouraging everybody to enthusiastically render their services. He was telling them that it was the only way to achieve salvation. Most of the important services were entrusted to Sangat from Bhilai. The Sangat was quite disciplined and would always render the service assigned to them with lot of zeal, devotion, love, and great efficiency. Sant Khalsa Ji was quite impressed by seeing such an overwhelming love and respect. After the program was over, both the saints got so involved with each other that their relationship cannot be explained in words. They both were like two bodies with a single soul. Sant Khalsa Ji told Papa Ji that as he was now a retired man, so he should devote more and more of his time to spread the teachings of Guru Sahib and should seek the blessings of Guruji. Both the saints were so deeply attached with each other that Khalsa Ji would daily send a vehicle and call Sant Ji to Mehta Sahib and would take him along wherever he would go for preaching, etc. Sant Ji never used to stay at Mehta Sahib and would always come to his village Bariar at night. On seeing them, one could easily perceive them as if two noble and pure souls of the erstwhile lives had come together once again. Sant Ji asked all his companions to join the Damdami Taksaal, which was founded by Shri Kalgitar Guru Gobind Singh Ji. End of audiobook part 3.